Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to theCUBE's live coverage of AuditBoard's Audit and Beyond here in San Diego. I'm your host, Rebecca Knight, alongside Rob Strechay. Rob, we've got the CEO.
This is fun. I think we got to see him on the main stage earlier today. A lot of excitement. Everybody's excited. I'm talking to the folks out at their party last night and at the bar the night before. It's such a time where this is needed to help people take the toil off of what they're doing from an audit perspective. I just love it. So,
well, here to talk about that more with us is Raul Villar. He is the CEO of AuditBoard. Welcome, Raul.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you're pretty new on the job, and then they said to you, oh, and by the way, the annual show is 3 months from now. So talk a little bit about the opportunity here at AuditBoard and Beyond and the spirit and philosophy of this show that we're at.
Yeah, it's like an iconic show. It's our 7th year. Our customers love it. Our employees love it. And with us here live, we have over 1,200 users that came to the conference. We had over 10,000 people online watching the show today. We have tons of content. We have over 40 different breakouts for people to learn more about audit, risk, compliance. We also have a lot of breakout sessions where they can network together because what we've learned in the ecosystem we've built here at AuditBoard is that, our clients learn from each other, right? And so we're super excited to have everyone here, and we're really excited about our future shock party tonight. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I think, again, you have great momentum, over 300 million in ARR, a lot of new executives coming in, a lot of new energy in the company. Where do you see AuditBoard going in the GRC market into the future here?
Yeah, we're just getting started. We got a great foundation. We believe we're the most complex, connected risk platform, AI-fueled for global companies. And, what we're focused on is investing in our platform. We're going to continue to expand the platform, and people saw it today. We have AI innovations across audit, risk, and compliance. We recently purchased FairNow, which is an exciting AI governance tool for our users. And then we're going to expand globally. We're already in the UK&I, and we're also in Germany, but I see AuditBoard will be worldwide over the next 18 months, and we're going to continue to build on the best-in-class AI platform in the GRC space.
So, Raul, this is not your first rodeo. You have led major scaling phases at Paycor, at ADP, and AdvancedMD. What are some of the lessons that you have learned from those experiences, and then how are you going to put those into practice as you bring AuditBoard into its next chapter?
Yeah, a couple things. First, you have to spend a lot of time talking to your clients and finding out what they want, because what they want isn't always what you want, right? And you have to find a way to mutually benefit each other, right? So what products do they want? We just had a user group with some of our top clients, and we were asking, hey, what do you want? Like, just because it's on our roadmap, it may not be the right thing, and we can change. So we got to build products for our clients. We have to be obsessed with the client user experience, and then we have to be bold. Like, we have a best-in-class platform, and we got to shout from the as loud as we can about how great AuditBoard is. So we're going to pump and fuel money into marketing and direct sales and make sure the AuditBoard message goes worldwide.
So I think that makes a lot of sense. And when you start to look at it, it's interesting. And I think there can be a lot of things you can share back and forth with your end users because you're also using it internally and you have AI. Help the folks at home understand, and the folks here, when they go and watch this, understand, how does that efficiency and AI help? How is that going to help them, the fact that you're using it internally as well?
Yeah, AI really helps in a couple different areas. It helps improve efficiency and reduce mundane tasks across our internal workforce, right? Just like we're trying to do for our auditors and our CISOs and our chief risk officers, we're trying to get rid of the mundane tasks no one wants to do through automation and through AI. And I think about it like from a coding perspective, right? We're going to be able to accelerate coding. We're going to be able to automate QA. From a marketing perspective, we can all get better scripts and better writing tools. We're all seeing the benefits of that. But across the enterprise, everyone benefits. And so we look at it as, hey, we're not looking to replace people with AI. We're looking to enhance people with AI. And actually, what we talk about in the company is you're not going to get replaced by AI, but you could get replaced by someone who uses AI better than you. And so embrace the technology and deliver a better user experience for our customers.
Yeah, so just building off that for a second, what would be your advice to CEOs? Because we've talked about your internal studies and all of the, there was 30% down, implementations of AI over the last couple of months since July, in the July version of it. But when you're talking to other CEOs and you're saying, hey, this is how you have to embrace AI or why you should, and here's places to start. What are those kinds of conversations?
Yeah, I think it's really critical that you remain committed to the initiatives that you set out on. And it's very easy when you hit that curve and, you kind of have that trough of disillusionment, which is where some of the people are in the AI cycle right now. You got to fight through it because it's going to get there. And you got to pull the people with you. And so I'd say stay committed. Focus on the things that matter, which are, really tied to your value proposition to your customers. And if you're leveraging AI to make that better, you're going to see the value, you're going to see the rewards. And once you get through the trough, then people, are focused, they've learned, they see the benefits, and they embrace it further, right? But it's about getting everyone using the tools. And what we've seen is, early on you have early adopters, right? Then you have fast followers. It's about getting the laggards all the way through the organization.
So you said that the most important thing is to really know your customers, know what's on their mind, know what their pain points are, know what they're looking for. We know that spending around governance, risk, and compliance is surging right now as companies are really wrestling with AI and with geopolitical tensions. What are some of the conversations that you're having here at Audit Beyond and also in your day-to-day about what organizations are really worried about in this moment?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. Risk and isolation is very dangerous. And, I've talked to a bunch of partners, a bunch of clients this week about that topic. And that's why connected risk is so important, because as a former CEO of a public company, typically you find out about risk when there's a problem, and then you have to react to the risk. What we're trying to do is identify, hey, what is the potential risk up front? So a CEO and a CFO and a board of directors can allocate the right investment at the right time. You can't invest in everything, right, to prevent risk, but you know which ones are the highest probability of failure, and that's what we're trying to solve for. Connect all the risks, provide a comprehensive dashboard to the CEO and CFO and the audit committee so they can help inform your investment decisions about where you're going to try to mitigate risk. And that's what people are really focused on, because there's so much. 6 months ago, it was all cyber. Now it's all AI. Tomorrow, I'm not sure what it's going to be. It might be crypto, right? and it was supply chain a year ago. So you've just seen this steady march. It's always something. Now, as someone that works in the category, we embrace this uncertainty, right? And we're here to help, right? And we have great tools to do that, but we want to inform, our clients about where they should invest, and so we can help them mitigate risk across their enterprise.
Yeah, I think to me that you talk about uncertainty, and I think there's one thing that has been coming out of a little bit of uncertainty has been the fact that there's more IPOs going on, right? Yeah. We've seen that people are getting ready. Some have delayed, some have pushed forward. We've seen just the definitely ramped up. You went through this yourself with Paycor, and you talked about that from the stage earlier today. But when you look at why you became an AuditBoard customer at Paycor and what others can learn that are in that pre-IPO phase, I've gone through it twice. It's a hell of a lot of work. Unbelievable amount of work. What is that they can learn, and you can help, the AuditBoard and yourself can help them learn to set them up for long-term success?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that people that are thinking about going public need to realize is that the IPO is an event. And being a public company is a process.
Right.
And you need tools that enable you to manage that process effectively. For us, AuditBoard enabled us to prepare, for the audit, to prepare for Sarbanes-Oxley, to have a risk profile. And all those were critical tools for our chief accounting executive, for our CISO, for our internal audit team, right? For our board of directors to feel confident that we could do it every quarter. And I remember high-fiving with my boss in Wall Street, and he said, "Why do you look sad?" And I said, 90 days from now, I have a public call that I have to deliver results, and our team has to do it. And you can't do it without the tools. You really need tools to help.
Well, it's as you said. I mean, the IPO, it's the wedding, and then you have the long marriage.
That's right. Totally.
Yeah.
And every quarter you have to deliver it, and the risks change, right? From quarter to quarter, different things impact your business. Different things are impacting the macro environment that you operate in. And so for us, if you can, minimize the amount of manual work that has to be done and how it's automated and how it comes through for the team, it enables you to be more nimble, more flexible, and be able to have a long marriage, as a public company.
So you have led many companies through big transformations. So you are new to AuditBoard. Where do you focus? I mean, as we've established here at this interview and here today on theCUBE, this is a time of unprecedented change and uncertainty. So you, Raul, where are you putting your time and energy?
Yeah. So number one is defining connected risk. Everyone in GRC describes it differently. And we believe we have the only platform that can bring it all together. And so that's the number one thing we're focused on, is how do we bring risk together across the enterprise for all of our power users, the CAE, the CISO, the CRO, everyone in the enterprise, and then get that information to the CFO and the CEO. So that's number one. And then secondly is, how do we tell our story worldwide? I mean, that is clearly, there's tons of opportunity. The regions across, Europe and EMEA are just really starving for modern GRC solutions, right, to handle modern needs that they have. And so those are probably the two biggest areas, like how do we bring connected risk to life for everyone in our ecosystem, and how do we expand worldwide? And then at the end of the day, we have to keep and maintain the culture that got us here, right? We have an amazing culture led by founders Dan and Jay, and then ultimately Scott for the next 5 years. I mean, we had 3 amazing leaders of AuditBoard. Like, I took over an amazing company. Usually you start and you got all these problems. I don't have problems. Like, we're just trying to accelerate. And so for me, it's one of the greatest assignments I've ever had, because it's a great company with great people and a great culture, and I just have to steer it so we continue to accelerate and continue to grow. And I think for us, we're just excited about the future.
So when you look at it, again, I go back to your story about being the customer and things like that. When you look at that, and I'm a product guy, I've done multiple startups and stuff like that, and to your point, being customer focused and customer obsessed, always in my blood. I think, and if I hear that from everybody here, so good job, because like everybody's definitely, you can tell, you have a great team here that's really doing that. When you look at that next level, because of the fact that the world is so complicated when it comes to audit and it comes to compliance and governance and regulation and risk, do you see that bringing more voices into that, especially because, like, again, you're in Germany and the UK, very different regulatory things. Like the AI Act in EU is definitely changing stuff. Then you go down to France and you have DORA, which is the financial services stuff. How do you see this? Because it would seem that AI can be a great advantage to you in this journey with that, but it's also connecting the people with that as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're really working, globally with partners, and they're really helping us educate us with their clients about what they need from us, because compliance, risk, and audit are everywhere, but they're different flavors, right? To your point. And so we have to be able to meet those needs in those markets. And sometimes it's with our technology, but more times than not, it's with our technology wrapped with the service from one of our partners, right? Because they're giving the transformation inside the client's office, right? We're providing the tool, they're providing the transformation. And that combination is enabling us to be really successful in Germany, to be really successful in the UK. And the needs are slightly different, and they're really more focused on risk than the US clients are. And so I think that's how we're looking at it. And also, I think what's most important, AuditBoard's number one cultural landmark is customer obsession. And so we have worldwide customers. And so they're not just US customers, they're Germany customers. But most of our customers, over 50%, of the Fortune 500 use AuditBoard. They're global companies and they're everywhere. And so we have to meet them where they are. And that's what we're focused on, making sure that we are there every time, a new regulation gets, put into effect. We have to be there to help.
There's so much strong, positive internal momentum at AuditBoard, new promotions and innovations, and obviously here, new product announcements, new acquisitions. Yep. When we are sitting here next year at Audit Beyond 2026, what do you want to be able to say? What would success look like to you?
Yeah, success is going to be we did it. And here's what we're doing for you in 27. And, my belief is that we should have a steady supply of new product innovations for our customers, solving the problems that they face every day and continuing to meet them wherever they are in the globe. And that's what success is, like continuing to be the gold standard across GRC for complex global companies. That's what AuditBoard is. That's what we want to continue to be. And we don't want there to be any confusion about who the number one provider is in the GRC space. And I think when we're here next year, I think you're going to be like, wow, you did it. You are killing the competition. And I can say that because I'm private.
Yeah. For now.
Yeah.
No, we won't go down that path, but but I think when you look at it and go, hey, we're going to grow, we're going to become even more important around the world. Like you said, we had GE aircraft on earlier, or aerospace, not aircraft, and global company. And when you start to look at this, that must help you kind of look at, okay, well, we're helping all these companies. They're in Singapore, they're in Abu Dhabi, they're in, France, they're in Italy. So you start to, as the CEO, because you still have budgets and other things, how do you look at it and say, okay, this is the next part of the world we're going to go after?
Yeah, great question. I think we're doing it two ways. One is, what regions can you expand from where you are? So for us, we've been entrenched in UK&I and opened up Germany last year. But those markets give us great access to Benelux, the Nordics, and France. So we will be, expanding rapidly into those markets. But then you also look at the demand curves. And there is so much demand, in APJ.
Yeah.
And, Singapore would be a natural home base. The Middle East is, as one partner told me today, there's unlimited money.
Yeah.
That's always a good place to think about going. And then, South Africa.
Yeah.
We've talked with a lot of folks in South Africa. They're starving for modern solutions and tools. And so you'll see us enter those markets in 26 with partners or with boots on the ground. We're still trying to figure all that out. But there's so much demand in those markets that we're going to meet the demand. And I think, I would just say the one thing, if I would say one thing that I'm trying to give to AuditBoard is ambition, right? And we have great ambition, and we are going to go for it. And we are open for business, and I told that to all of our partners, like, we are not worried about competing. We want to compete across the globe.
Well, we look forward to being back here next year.
Yeah.
And having you say, Mic drop, we did it.
We did it. Well, thank you so much for today.
This has
Well,
been
thank
a
you.
really terrific conversation. Thank you, Raul.
Thank you. Have a great day.
I'm Rebecca Knight for Rob Strechay. Stay tuned for more of theCUBE's live coverage of Audit and Beyond. You're watching theCUBE, the leader in enterprise tech news and analysis.